This article by The Guardian just came out saying that we could get the Apple Fold as early as September 2026. So let's talk about it. Now, in terms of the design, there's already two really big decisions that Apple has to make, and that's whether they go with the Flip or with the Fold. Now, although on paper they seem like the exact same thing, and at the end of the day, it's still going to be a folding phone, it actually changes a lot about what the phone does and how it looks. So the Flip is going to be like the old Nokia style phones that we used to have in the 2000s. And in this day and age, it's simply going to be like your regular iPhone that you own nowadays, but it's just going to be able to fold flat and be kind of a square when it's folded. And the Fold, on the other hand, is going to look like the phone you have right now in your hand when it's folded, and when it's open, it's going to look like a small iPad mini. So this is a really big decision that Apple has to make because we really haven't seen any leaks yet on if they're going to go with either the Flip or the Fold model. Another thing the article talks about is the premium price that this device is going to get. Now we can look at Samsung to see that this type of phone isn't one that's going to be priced exactly like the other smartphones we use today. It's clear that because of its novelty, it's going to be priced at a lot higher, probably around the 1999 to 2100 mark, something that would go in line with what Samsung has done with their prices, and that would just simply become the industry standard. Right now, that product coming out would 100% be a novelty, and because of it, the price is going to be reflected as such. But in a few years, when we hopefully see folding and flip phones become a lot more popular and common, it's obviously most likely that the price is going to drop significantly. All right, so let's take a look at the market and why Apple's actually doing this. So we've seen tech experts say time and time again how smartphones are getting boring and how customers just really aren't as excited for them as they were a few years back. And obviously, this makes complete sense. I mean, before we used to have flip phones and really blocky Blackberries. So when Apple came around and introduced the smartphone, it became the hype. And although we've had a lot of increases year after year, recently those increases have been very, very small. And obviously, it's left customers and consumers wanting a lot more than what we're actually getting. Now, as Apple has done throughout their entire trajectory as a business, they weren't the first ones, and they're obviously not going to be the first ones to come out with a folding phone. Apple's strategy has never been to be the first pioneers and the first ones to do things. What they like to do is wait for a product to come to market, take a few years themselves to improve it and perfect it, and once it's perfected, then they release it to the public. And that's something we're going to see being done with the Apple Fold. Now, the biggest takeaway from the article is September 2026. That's the date that The Guardian said that the Apple Fold is going to be released. Now, for that date to be around a year away and for us to not have gotten any leaks, at least to me, seems very speculative. I'm not exactly sure where The Guardian did get their information from, but The Guardian is a trusted source for news, so I'm guessing they do have somebody that knows a lot of things. In this specific scenario, we're really just gonna have to wait and see what ends up happening. And I'm sure that down the line, we are gonna get some leaks if the phone is actually going to be released in September. But if during this entire period we don't get any single leaks about Apple actually releasing the product, then more likely than not, it's just not going to come out in September. Now, in terms of the phone itself, there's a lot of things that Apple still has to figure out, which is why I'm saying that only 1 year for it to come out entirely seems like a little soon. Obviously, we have to take a look at the durability. We've seen time and time again how Samsung's flip and fold phones aren't the most durable. I saw a Jerry Rig Everything video a few weeks back where I saw him scratching the front end of that Samsung flip or fold screen, and it scratched very easily. And as we know, Apple doesn't like releasing products that could get any type of backlash. They like to release products when they're already perfected and polished. So they have the big issue of how to make that front screen a lot more durable. Not only that, but at the end of the day, we don't exactly know how that product's gonna do. There could be a lot of people that buy it, but there could also be a lot of people that are just gonna be incredibly skeptical about how legit this phone's gonna be and how durable it's actually gonna be. And so because of that, Apple could release the Apple Fold and it could just not get any sales. And well, if that's the case, Apple's obviously gonna have to change a lot of things or maybe even decide to scrap the idea altogether. So I think it really is clear that Apple's gonna end up entering the market at one point or another. Now, whether they enter it in September 2026, like The Guardian says, I'm not exactly sure. But what is certain is that they're going to come out with a product that's a lot more polished than the first designs that Samsung or other companies came out with. They're going to come out with a premium product that only a handful of people are going to end up buying. What do you think about the Apple Fold or Flip? Do you think it's something that's actually coming in September 2026? Or do you think The Guardian just doesn't know what they're talking about and it's a phone that's going to be released much later on? Whatever opinion, feedback, or anything similar you have, just leave it in the comments down below and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. If you guys did enjoy this video, then check out my channel and see if you like anything else. And I guess since there's nothing left to be said, I'll see you guys in the next one.